The grill was still smoking when the first smoke grenade landed in my coleslaw. I didn't flinch, just stood there, tongs in hand, beer in the other, watching 6 people in tactical vests rappel from a landscaping truck with HOA enforcement, spray painted on the side. Am I hallucinating? Did she actually bring a flashbang to a barbecue? Why does one of them have a laminated badge that says, Director of Grill Security? Boom. The second grenade blew my pop-up tent into a neighbor's tree. And that's when I calmly said, Karen, this is a cookout, not Kabul. 12 hours earlier, all I wanted was to celebrate my daughter's birthday with ribs, lemonade, and a slip-and-slide shaped like a taco. Now, I'm apparently a hostile actor in violation of subsection 9.2, unregulated communal gatherings with smoked meats. This can't be legal. I read the HOA handbook twice. There's nothing about pulled pork constituting an aggressive aroma. Why does that guy have night vision goggles? It's 2 p.m. Karen's wearing a whistle and saluting a shrub. I think I've entered a parallel universe. Microphone. Before I tell you how my backyard birthday party turned into a military-grade HOA raid, hit that like button if you've ever had a neighbor lose their mind over something petty. Pushpin subscribe if you believe barbecue should be protected by constitutional law, and drop a comment with the wildest thing your HOA has ever tried to ban. Bonus points if it involves inflatable flamingos or fruit-scented candles. You ever sip lemonade on your porch and realize you're about to get evicted by a tow truck? No? Just me? Okay, so buckle up, because I didn't think porch repossession was a real thing until my HOA president, Beverly, showed up in a reflective vest labeled Enforcement Commander, pointing at my porch like it owed her alimony. Let me rewind. I'm Tim, 62, recently retired, trying to enjoy my final years in a neighborhood I thought was peaceful. Big air quotes. I bought this place for the yard, the shade tree, the porch where I drink my lemonade every morning like I'm in a country song. 2 weeks ago, I got a letter. Your porch is 11 inches over the aesthetic harmony guideline. Please remove it. I thought it was a joke. I laughed, even. 11 inches? Aesthetic harmony? Sounds like something a cranky yoga teacher would say. Not a real legal concern. Turns out it was a threat. That Saturday, I'm minding my own business, wearing my robe and a shirt that says, Born to mow, forced to comply. My ancient lawnmower, Rusty, is still dripping oil on the driveway like it's crying for retirement. And then I hear the sound of orthopedic sandals crunching gravel. Here comes Beverly. Now, Beverly wasn't elected. She assumed authority after a vote that no one recalls. Clipboard, sunglasses, judgment. She marches up, points at Rusty and says, Article 6.3. That is a non-compliant mechanical entity. I told her it had soul. She wrote me a citation and left. Then the real fun began. This morning, I'm out there, lemonade in hand, when 2 guys in khaki uniforms start wrapping tow cables around my porch. My porch, not a car, not a lawn gnome, porch, bolted to my house. I calmly ask them what the hell they think they're doing, and one goes, enforcing HOA structure compliance under executive authority. I look up, and there she is, Beverly, standing in the street, bullhorn in one hand, binder in the other, nodding like she's ordering a military strike. Commence relocation, she says. The winch groans. The porch shifts. I sip my lemonade. And then I say, loud enough for her to hear, you better hope that binder has a chapter on felony trespass. So there I am, still barefoot, still calm, watching 2 HOA contractors attempt to tow my damn porch off my property, while Beverly barks orders like she's Napoleon in a neighborhood war crime reenactment. I should have panicked, but I didn't. I just took another sip of lemonade and reached for my phone. Because here's the thing Beverly didn't know. My nephew? Civil litigation attorney. And not the boring kind. The petty kind. The kind who once sued an apartment complex over a malfunctioning gate and won damages for emotional trauma caused by being trapped in a Ford Fusion for 7 minutes. His name's Gavin. I called him. Hey, Uncle T. What's up? They're towing my porch. Pause. Like your porch? Your house porch? Yep. says I'm 11 inches over aesthetic harmony. Gavin didn't even curse. He just muttered, "Time to ruin someone's week," and hung up. Now I'm still trying to reason with the porch stranglers. These two guys wearing tool belts and zero remorse. When my neighbor, Denise, walks over. Denise is Beverly's nemesis. Wears Crocs with rhinestones and calls herself a hobby anarchist. She once painted her shed neon orange just to mess with the HOA color palette. "What's going on?" she asks, holding her phone like it's a weapon. "They're towing my porch." Her eyes go wide. "Holy crap. I thought you were kidding. I just came to return your Tupperware." She flips her camera on and says, "Hey TikTok, you're not going to believe what the HOA's doing today. Now it's 2 phones filming. Then 3. Then 7. Because word spreads fast in cul-de-sac combat zones. Within minutes, people are coming out of their homes like it's an air raid drill. Robes, slippers, morning breath and all. Jan from 2 doors down brings her lawn chair. Paul sets up a tripod. This is how the Lemonade uprising began. Beverly realizes what's happening. She turns to the crowd, grabs her bullhorn, and yells, "This is an internal compliance matter. Disperse." Someone yells back, "Your pantsuit is an aesthetic violation." Laughter. The winch whines louder. One of the porch butchers gets nervous and mutters, "Ma'am, are we legally allowed to do this?" Beverly snaps, "This is HOA jurisdiction." And then Gavin shows up. My nephew, 31. Sharp suit. Aviators. Holding a cease and desist so aggressively thick it could be used as a blunt weapon. "Step away from the structure," he announces, cool as ice. One of the guys mutters, "Thank God," and drops the cable like it burned him. Gavin walks right up to Beverly and says, "You've just violated 4 state statutes and at least 2 federal ordinances regarding private property, unauthorized removal, and attempted demolition. Also," he pauses, tapping his folder, "you left a paper trail in Comic Sans." I whisper to Denise, "That's his superpower. Weaponized formatting." The crowd cheers. One of the neighbors throws a muffin in the air like it's confetti. Beverly, she doesn't move, just stands there, nostrils flaring, like a goat staring down an oncoming train. "This isn't over," she says. Gavin smiles. "No, it's only just begun." He turns to me and says, "By the way, Uncle Tim, we're suing them." I raise my glass of lemonade and toast the lawn. Make it a class action. And that's when I knew this wasn't about porches anymore. This was war. You ever wake up to find your entire yard flagged like it's a crime scene? Because that's how Monday started. Little orange stakes planted every 3 feet in my lawn. Some labeled non-compliant flora. Others marked suspected encroachment zone. There was even one that just said vibe violation. I stood in my bathrobe, coffee in hand, barefoot on the porch they almost kidnapped, trying to process the madness, when I noticed the drone. Not just any drone. This thing had HOA logos on it, and a tiny camera, hovering directly in front of my face like it wanted to ask if I'd reviewed page 7 of the HOA handbook. It chirped, and then a voice came from the street. "This is an official compliance scan, Mr. Johnson. Please remain still." Beverly, standing at the edge of my driveway with a clipboard, a walkie-talkie, and a megaphone, like she was calling in an airstrike. Behind her, a bunch of her lackeys in khaki vests milled about. They had name tags that read things like Aesthetic Patrol Unit and Mailbox Compliance Specialist. I counted 7 of them. One had a measuring wheel. Another carried a binder so big I swear it had a spine. A literal spine. Beverly lifted the megaphone. "This is Section 8 of the Maple Hills Residential Bylaws. You are currently under review for landscape violations, porch setback nonconformity, and misuse of lawn signage." She pointed to my porch sign, a gift from my daughter, that read, "Go away unless you're pizza." "This promotes antisocial behavior," she hissed. "You know what else does?" I shouted back. "Organizing a paramilitary landscaping squad." That's when Denise, my neighbor, co-conspirator, queen of chaos, emerged from behind her hedge with a leaf blower and a t-shirt that said, Ask me about my HOA lawsuit. She turned it on. Blew every clipboard page Beverly was holding straight into the street like autumn leaves of justice. I saluted her. The rebellion had begun. By noon, the neighborhood was buzzing. Paul started a group chat, Maple Hills Liberation Front. We traded memes, shared bylaws, plotted. Did you know Beverly illegally amended the bylaws last spring? Gavin did. He found the receipt trail. Turns out the vote never happened. The amendment signatures were all in the same handwriting. Gavin ran a forensic font check Times New Roman size 14. Bold. Italicized. Beverly style. That night we launched the newsletter. Printed in comic book style. Front page headline. The real rules. What your HOA doesn't want you to know. Denise snuck around at 2 a.m., stuffing it in mailboxes with garden gloves and a headlamp like she was on a Mission Impossible spin-off. We included fun facts. Beverly owns 3 unregistered lawn ornaments. Her mailbox is 2 inches too tall. HOA funds were used to buy snacks for executive meetings, which took place at her house, during bachelor watch parties. And oh, we had photos. So many photos. By Wednesday, there were signs popping up on lawns everywhere. Free the porches. In Rust we trust. For my mower, Rusty. My aesthetic is none of your damn business. Section 8. Liberated. My whole block turned into a quiet uprising of tiki torches, lawn signs, and passive-aggressive mailboxes painted in shades of protest. But Beverly? She wasn't done. At the next HOA board meeting, she brought a motion to disband the entire compliance committee and replace it with a new one. The HOA Special Enforcement Response Team, or as she called it, CERT. Let that sink in. She formed a tactical HOA unit, with uniforms. And guess who she appointed as deputy? Janice, queen of passive-aggressive rose sips and Facebook posts about declining neighborhood values. I knew then, this wasn't just a spat. This was a full-blown regime shift. And they were coming for me next. You ever hear a lawnmower start up at 2:12 in the morning and immediately know a revolution is underway? Yeah. That was me. Rusty roared to life like a chainsaw gargling gravel. And somewhere in the shadows of Maple Hills, Beverly shot upright in bed like a villain sensing the hero has finally snapped. Let me rewind 6 hours. After Beverly's failed clipboard crusade and the rise of the HOA Special Enforcement Response Team, CERT-GAG, Gavin told me we had everything we needed to make a move. Fake amendments, forged votes, misuse of HOA funds, illegal structural interference, drone surveillance violations. We had the receipts, literally, in a color-coded binder labeled Operation Porktastrophe. But Gavin said something that stuck. Legal action's great, but public humiliation, that's the seasoning. And so, we planned the mower mutiny. Denise was in charge of timing. Jan from 2 blocks down handled distractions. Paul, tech support. The man built a Wi-Fi jammer out of a toaster and an old Roku. Legends live among us. At exactly 2:10 a.m., my trail cam picked up motion. The HOA drone. It came low, buzzing just above my mailbox like a judgmental hummingbird. That thing had been watching me for days. Recording my grass, my porch lights, my soul probably. This was its final flight. Jan hit the jammer. The drone froze midair. Wobbled. Boom. Straight into my wind chime collection like a kamikaze piñata. Metal shards rained across the driveway like freedom confetti. I stepped outside, robe flapping like a cape, coffee in one hand, spark plug in the other. Showtime. I pulled Rusty's cord. Once, twice. Brea her. The lawnmower screamed to life like it was possessed by the ghost of every fined resident in HOA history. I cranked the throttle and guided Rusty through the heart of Section 8. Blades up. I'm not a monster, just carving joyrides across the sidewalk. Denise followed with a Bluetooth speaker blaring, Ride of the Valkyries. Neighbors peeked through blinds. One guy saluted. I stopped in front of Beverly's house. Her windows were dark. Until they weren't. She opened the blinds like a horror movie reveal. Silhouette framed in rage. Pajamas. Clipboard. No humanity. She opened the front door. "This is harassment," she screeched into the void. I shut off the mower, raised my coffee mug. Harassment would be forcing a porch audit at gunpoint. This is called freedom gardening. Then Gavin stepped into the light. Did I mention Gavin brought a bullhorn? AS of 12:01 a.m. He announced, "All enforcement actions from this HOA are illegal. The board is dissolved pending litigation. Your amendments are void." And he flipped a document toward her like a magician. "Here's your cease and desist." Denise held up her phone. Live streaming. Already 8,000 viewers. Comments flying. "Get her, Uncle Tim. RIP HOA drone. Free Rusty." Beverly opened her mouth. And then the sprinklers came on. Paul had hacked the irrigation system. Right on cue, all of Section 8's lawns exploded into synchronized water cannons. Beverly shrieked. Her clipboard went soggy. My neighbor's gnome, Gregory, caught the light just right as water misted around him like he was being baptized in anti-Karen holy water. I didn't move, didn't gloat, just sipped my coffee and muttered, "Next time, measure that, Beverly." She retreated inside, soaked, shrieking something about litigation and moral decay. We cheered. Rusty coughed smoke like a victory cigar. But this wasn't the end. The next morning we got a letter. HOA emergency meeting. Mandatory attendance. Location, Community Rec Center. Time, 6 p.m. Dress code, business casual. Topic, neighborhood stability in times of anarchy. We were going. And we weren't going alone. The HOA's emergency meeting was held in the rec center. A beige-tiled echo chamber where dreams go to die. You know the kind. Fluorescent lights that flicker like they're haunted. Folding chairs that squeak when you even think about shifting. And a faint smell of stale coffee and crushed ambition. I showed up early, in a Hawaiian shirt, carrying a cooler full of lemonade. Not just to flex, it's tradition now. Denise came dressed as Lady Liberty. Foam crown, torch, and everything. Gavin? Oh, Gavin came in a tailored suit like he was auditioning to shut down Congress. He carried a rolling briefcase that clicked with every step like it was keeping score. The place was packed. Section 8 showed up deep. Jan wore a cape made of HOA violation letters. Paul livestreamed the whole thing with a GoPro strapped to Gregory the gnome, who now had sunglasses and a co-defendant sticker on his beer stein. Beverly sat at the head table. Her hair? Tight bun. Her blouse? Starched like a sniper's glove. Her soul? Withering under fluorescent lights. She stood, tapped the mic. "Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this emergency session to order as your acting HOA president, in light of recent objection." Gavin's voice cut through like a courtroom gavel wrapped in vengeance. Beverly froze. "This isn't a court of law." "It is now," Gavin said, slamming a stack of printed exhibits on the table loud enough to make the coffee tremble. Per Section 14.7b of the HOA Charter, which I've highlighted here in neon orange, any board member found in breach of fiduciary duty, bylaw procedure, or fraudulent amendment can be immediately removed via public motion with majority vote. Murmurs, gasps, a single hell yeah from the back. Beverly blinked. "This meeting is not for." "It's exactly for this," Gavin shot back, calm as a cat in sunlight. "Would you like to read the receipts aloud? Or shall I?" He slid forward the photos, her fake amendment votes, misused funds, and the $113 purchase from bylobling.com for a customized clipboard labeled Queen of Compliance. Jan started chanting, "Motion to remove. Motion to remove." Denise held up a glitter sign that read, "Time to retire, Karen." Beverly looked around, realized the tide had turned, realized her clipboard couldn't save her from the people. She slammed her hand on the table. "This is a witch hunt." Someone shouted back, "Then where's your broom, Bev?" That was it. Gavin turned to the crowd. "All in favor of removing Beverly Lang as HOA president?" Hands. So many hands. I raised mine with 2 fingers and a lemon wedge. The vote was unanimous. Even her own treasurer voted her out. Then came the cherry on top. The cops walked in. Turns out Gavin had filed a report. Fraud. Trespassing. Illegal detainment of personal property. Yes, the porch thing. Destruction of private infrastructure. R.I.P. Gregory's cousin. Gary the Gnome. May he rest in ceramic peace. The officers walked over, calm as summer rain. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Beverly stood, stunned, still clutching her clipboard. On what grounds? Multiple, one cop said, flipping open a notepad. Starting with unlawful surveillance and attempted property removal. As they led her out, she shouted, "This isn't over. I am the law." And from the back of the room, Paul whispered into the mic, "No, Bev, you were the law." The room erupted. People cheered, clapped. I swear someone popped a confetti cannon made of recycled violation letters. Gavin turned to me and said, "So, you ready to be HOA president?" I laughed, hard. "No thanks. I just want my porch back." Denise raised her lemonade and proposed a motion. Tim gets immunity from all HOA violations for life. Passed. Unanimously. Gregory the Gnome now sits on my porch, permanently lit with solar LEDs, holding a plaque that says, "In Rust we trust. For porches, peace, and petty revenge." Beverly, she moved. Rumor has it she tried to join another HOA and got rejected for past behavior inconsistent with community harmony. As for me, I still sit on my porch every morning, lemonade in hand, Rusty at my feet. No cables, no drones, just peace. And the occasional smirk when a new neighbor asks about that time the HOA tried to tow my house. Microphone, if you enjoyed watching Karen's tactical takedown fail harder than her HOA newsletter spelling. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for weekly tales of suburban warfare, and tell me in the comments, what should I barbecue next to trigger the next fake SWAT team? Firecracker. And remember, in this neighborhood, every cookout is a revolution. Subscribe so you don't miss the next uprising.